Over the course of the last 3 or 4 classes on the meditation course and in the in-person classes, I've been explaining the present moment and what it is. And I put that online as a podcast, so you can pick that up. And it's also available on the meditationcourse.live website. You can listen to the recording there. And the present moment isn't a fuzzy spiritual concept. It's a very real way that the brain collects information and presents it to us. Then I also have done a couple of classes explaining the nature of the awareness. There's a single awareness. It appears that we might be able to focus on 2 things at the same time. That's an illusion because the brain does it so quickly that it appears that we're able to do 2 things at the same time. But both of those things you perform less effectively than if you're doing one thing. And we all know this. And there's evidence that the way that the brain works is through a thing called context switching. It moves very quickly from one thing to another, so quickly that you're not aware that it's happening, and there's a sense of being able to focus on 2 things at the same time. Now, it's a useful skill to have, and it's got its places, but it is also an incredibly useful skill to detach yourself from distractions and focus on something. It doesn't really matter what it is. You might want to, when you walk out of here, there's 2 ways of walking out into the rain. When you watch people walk into the rain in the United Kingdom, and in fact, matter of fact, not just here either, it's as if the rain is causing them pain. There's a pained expression on their face. They screw up their faces and eyes and put their clothing and hood on and crouch as if the rain is actually ball bearings, not water. That's, interestingly, a consequence of not focusing on the rain. Try this as an experiment, everybody who's been brave enough to face the rain today and come in person. When you walk out, notice the rain. Okay. Now, I know there's an issue here. Issue's women's hair. And it's expensive and time-consuming process to get it. And obviously, I'm speaking as someone with no hair. So I'm at the opposite ends of the scale of caring. But pick a bad hair day and walk out into the rain. If you do that, you'll realise it's actually a wonderful thing. Yeah? I've seen people dance in the rain at the end of a hot spell. Same rain. What this means is our focus also brings our acceptance. Acceptance is allowing yourself to feel however you feel in the present moment. So if you go out into the rain and you leave your hood down and there's the rain in your face, you're accepting the rain. Clearly at some point you'll become very wet and then there's consequences to that, but you don't need to experience it to the point of discomfort. You can experience it to the point of accepting the rain. Essentially, it's a connection to nature. You're connecting to nature directly. So this awareness, if we're in our minds, we will very often become avoidant of the experience of the present moment. There's an element of wanting to get it out of the way. The present moment is something to be gotten out of the way because fulfilment lies in the future. And that's a kind of universal concept. And you then have the global capitalist hamster wheel with 8 billion people squeaking away on it, seeking fulfilment in the future, usually from concepts such as financial freedom and significant amounts of wealth and status. And unfortunately, that's a myth. And it's a myth that's promoted by pretty much every salesman in the world. Sales consists of two processes. One is to prove to you that the absence of whatever it is they're selling is somehow unsatisfactory. And then there's a second thing that sales does, which is bringing your expectations in line with your new reality. So you raise someone's expectations. If you have this holiday in the Maldives, buy this new car or kitchen, upgrade your house, buy a new suit, it will bring you fulfillment. And there's no doubt that there's this positive, new shiny thing experience. But then what happens is it habituates. You get used to it. So what do? Buy another kitchen, car, holiday in the Maldives, etc., etc. Multiply that by 8 billion and we are where we are. And while all of this is happening, the existence of fulfillment by experiencing the rain doesn't exist. It's as if it's not real, but you can test it for yourselves. So you can actually do this. There's not many things that I teach that I can't prove in 60 seconds. So when you go out into the rain next on your bad hair day, or maybe today, instead of being in your mind, you bring your awareness back to the present moment and the rain, you'll find that it's fulfilling, that you don't need anything other than the rain. There's somebody who I hope in the future humanity will recognize as a great scientist. His name is Enrique Salmon. He's from an indigenous group in Mexico, and he studies indigenous and primitive people. And he has constructed this distinctly human way of perceiving yourself. It's known as kin-centric ecology. So universally, throughout the entire world, all primitive people have concluded, separated by thousands of miles and oceans and cultures, having only a common ancestor tens or hundreds of thousands of years ago, have all concluded the same thing, which is that all living things are part of one family. The myths of the groups, wherever they might happen to be, originates with this sense of connection to everything. All religions originated as animism. So Shinto is the religion of Japan. It's an animist religion. Enrique Salmon is famous for a phrase, which is, I believe, something that he learned from his indigenous contacts. I am the rain. I'm not experiencing the rain, I am the rain. There's no separation between the rain and me. Any separation is an illusion. How can that be? The rain is part of our atmosphere. And right now, this atmosphere is within you. Take yourself out of the atmosphere, and in 60 seconds, you'll discover how true that is. The atmosphere is in you, and you are in the atmosphere. You're breathing out the atmosphere, you're breathing it in. And the element of it that's keeping you alive, oxygen's been placed there over 2 billion years by other living things. And the breath that you're breathing out is then utilized by all of the green plants and algae and plankton and many bacteria as part of their life energy. And the rain's part of that cycle. Human beings have a very, very tiny little perspective on time. Becoming aware frees us from the process of living our lives in our minds and frees us from the process of looking for fulfillment in the future. So let's practice awareness. you are, your awareness and what you're aware of. And here's the evidence in the sound of the bell. Because notice what happens when we bring our attention to the sound of the bell and notice it moving through time. The bell is a tool, it's a prop to bring our awareness back to the present moment. And it has a lifetime of conditioning to battle against and is incredibly successful. One of two things will happen. Either your mind will become silent as you immerse your awareness in the sound of the bell and the movement of sound through time, or the sensation of the breath, or the rising and falling of the belly, or any of the single points of awareness that we use for meditation. Either your mind will become calm and silent, or you'll become aware of the mind, but in the same way that you become aware of the ticking of the clock in the background. Because your awareness is immersed in the continuous cycle of life in the present moment, and then we become aware of thought as what it is, which is a narrative message from our subconscious. There's another name for the subconscious, and it's the mind. So we become sensitive to thought. And we can witness the thought arising. And we can listen to it. And listen for it. So the movement of sound through time and the sensation of the breath and the movement of the belly is what we focus our single awareness on. And then in the background, the narrative of the mind unfolds. Passing whatever messages it passes. So it's a little bit like being in a venue. Let's say you go to a pub and you're there with your friends and you're having a drink and you're chatting. And in the background, someone's got the TV on, rattling away in the background. But you're noticing what your friends are saying and observing their body language and empathizing with them and connecting with them and the television chatters away in the background. That then becomes our relationship to the present moment. The present moment becomes our focus, and the thoughts become the background. So these are all portals to the present moment. Sound, the breath, the rain, the movement of the clouds, the sound of the traffic, birdsong, a passing airplane, a television on in another room, roadworks, the belly rising and falling, the sensation of the breath as it enters and leaves the nostrils, the sound of a baby crying. They're all portals into the present moment. So long as you're aware of the passage of time. Voices, chatter, hubbub. Music. The silence between the notes in music. It's a pause, the purpose of which is to bring us into the present moment. The ticking of the clock and sensations in the body. Awareness of tension and noticing the tension become released when you breathe out while you're focusing on that part of the body with tension. So we can ask our body, where is discomfort, where is tension? And it points us in the right direction. And very often we can release both of them with an out breath. So the chatter of the mind's no more separate from the present moment than anything else is. An unhelpful belief has arisen that meditation's about silencing the mind, and of course we want the mind to be calm, but we're not going to achieve it by trying to calm the mind. We achieve it by noticing that the thoughts are part of the experience of the present moment, passing through time, along with all of these other things that I've explained and many more. You can even open your experience to all of this most easily by focusing your attention on the space between the eyes. We just bring our one and only attention there. And it brings what I call balanced focus, where external phenomena, the passing airplane, the traffic, Robert blabbering away, the clock, how warm or cool it is, etc., is no more or less prominent in your awareness than your inner phenomena, the thoughts, the emotions, comfort, discomfort, tiredness, alertness, tension, relaxation. And the way that we focus on the space between the eyes is softly and gently, the lightest possible touch. So if you find your awareness being drawn to a single phenomena, a sound, a sensation, thought, emotion, anything, just bring it back to focusing on the space between the eyes. You don't lose contact with that phenomena. It just slips into place as part of the hubbub of the present moment. Now, any impatience or unsatisfactoriness or frustration or irritation or any such thing arises in your awareness, accept it as a feeling. So if impatience arises, for example, or irritation, let's say there's a sound, repetitive sound, it might be loud. You're noticing it as a feeling. Keep your awareness on the space between the eyes, but allow that feeling into the hubbub of the present moment along with everything else. Don't go looking for the feeling, just be accepting of it if it arises. The feeling of boredom, impatience, frustration, irritation, the backdrop of the modern world. When that pops into your awareness, focus on the space between the eyes and absorb the feeling into the present moment. So just practice this for the next few minutes. It's got many names, but it's many thousands of years old. A soft, gentle awareness of the space between the eyes. So if the thoughts or the emotions are intense, we're neither avoiding them nor wallowing in them, but we're allowing them to find their place in the experience of the present moment. There is sound, there is breath, there is sensation, there is balance, there is awareness of the space that I'm in. There's what I can smell and taste and hear, and there is emotion, and there is thought. And then there's the awareness of the space between the eyes, and it's all part of the hubbub of the present moment. And the experience of the present moment and the breath can release the tension of thought and emotion over time. So let's check in with the body, see how the body's getting on. Another light touch on all of these places. The eyes, what tension is there? The jaw, what tension is there? Place the tongue up against the back of the top teeth, gently in contact with the sharp part of the bottom teeth. Focus your awareness on the center of the eyeballs. Place your elbows by your sides and balance your head as comfortably as you possibly can on top of your spine. And focusing on the out breath, extending it slightly. Release tension from the eyes. Allowing the face to hang down. And the jaw, gently focusing on the sensation of the tongue against the sharp part of the bottom teeth. Allow your jaw to hang. More gentle focus. Focus on how your head is balancing on your spine. The ring of muscles around the neck that are holding it in place. And wherever the tension is, move the head on the neck gently to find a place to balance it. So that there's no tension. tiny adjustments to make. And your arms, allow them to hang. Have to do all of this on the out breath. And then with the first fingertip and the thumb very, very gently in contact, so gently you could slide a cigarette paper between them. Let go of the tension in your hands. So if they weren't supported, they would flop. And then noticing the breath in the nostrils, rising and falling of its own accord. And then with each successive out breath, release a bit more tension from the torso, the buttocks and hips, the thighs, the belly, the chest, the shoulders, the arms, the hands, the feet, the eyes, the jaw, the neck, the face. And now bring your attention to your body within you, the space inside the body. Could be within the chest, could be within the belly, or the place where the belly meets the chest, just behind that. Or within the head. Those are the usual places. So you're just becoming aware of the place within you, the space within you. But your awareness will be wherever your awareness is, and we want that to settle inside the body as well. And the best way to experience this is a sensation like settling into a comfortable sofa or armchair. And then we're settling the awareness that is aware of our experience into our body where it belongs. If the mind draws your attention away, your awareness away from being within the body, just gently settle back down into it again. Same way you did the first time. And noticing the sensation of the breath and the air entering and leaving the nostrils. Cool breath in, warm breath out. Notice the sensation of the body being seated or lying. And all of the phenomena of the present moment. sounds, smells, sensations, thoughts, emotions. And the sound of the bell moving through time. And whenever you're ready, in your very own time, gently return your attention to your surroundings. So that first meditation is from the Bhagavad Gita, which is 2,600 miles and 2,600 years old, apparently. And it's probably an oral tradition that goes back much further. And then the second meditation, the inner body meditation, that's what Eckhart Tolle teaches. But he only teaches focusing on the inner body. He doesn't teach moving within the inner body. Not the way that I teach it anyway. And that is there's two very soft awarenesses there. There's one, obviously, when we're in the inner body, it tends to bring us deep into our minds, and that's where the micro sleeps come from, and that's all fine. Remembering that if you do drift into a micro sleep, the purpose is to stay there for the duration of the meditation. And so if you wake up, and the modern world has taught us to wake up, and so subsequently never able to use that as a way of recovering energy, because it's a huge way of recovering energy. And so then you're aware of your internal experience, but the focus on the space between the eyes, very gentle, both of them very gentle, that gives us an awareness of everything. You become connected to the hubbub of the present moment. And we're just focusing our awareness, the one awareness. And this sort of experience really helps you to recognize how it is one awareness, because you're drawn into an experience and all of the other things are tuned out to the point where they don't exist. And then you're drawn into another experience, the experience of balanced awareness is the experience of a small period of time and everything that happens in it. And notice how powerful it is, and notice what that means if somebody else has control of your awareness. What you're focused, placed a narrative in your mind that you're focused on, going round and round in your head. Notice how important it is to be able to recover from that. Only through the present moment, really, can we do that. And that resets our awareness, and then we're in the position to choose what we focus our awareness on. So Helen's going to try out the rain experiment on her way to the hairdressers today. Bless you, Helen. I'd love to hear what the result of. Hopefully it's raining. And Laura's not back from that meditation yet. And Judith enjoyed it, as did Susan and Bill. Bless you all, and have a fantastic weekend. And we're back tomorrow night at 7, like usual, online on the meditation course. Yeah, Helen's going to report back. No, yeah, not on the way back, no. All right then. Take care. Bye, everybody.